The spot market on gold was created to manage, this is official, manage how we perceive gold. At 2054, it's still severely undervalued. How do you know that? How do you know that I'm just not making that up? Because if you go back historically, and we've got 4,800 times, more than 4,800 times we can look at it, gold is the anchor. And even though we've been taught that it's just an old relic, well, you can see the central banks don't really think that it's such an old relic. They're accumulating it. And at the end of the day, when all confidence in this garbage is lost, they re-anchor, they reset, they restructure the money against gold. That's how it's done. So not a thousand ways to do it. There's one way they do it right here. That's when you will see gold expressed to its true fundamental value, which right now is close to $12,000. And the more debt they grow, the higher that number goes, and so much of it is hidden. So I would say that's rather conservative. So yeah, I am a very, very strong proponent that you should always do what the smartest guys in the room on any given topic are doing for themselves. And who knows more about money than central banks? You know, it's pretty simple. So this is the choice that I have certainly made. But you need other things too to sustain a reasonable standard of living. Food, water, energy, security, barterability. That's where, for me, that's mostly where silver comes in. Community, wealth preservation, and shelter. These are all the things that we need. And what the gold and the silver do, they're universal money. They don't need a government to say this is money. They're both of these real money, good money, are used across the entire swatch of the global economy, every single area. So therefore, they have the broadest base of utility because, hey, they're used in medicine, they're used in the financial system, they're used for jewelry, they're used in manufacturing, for computers and different things, right? So it has the broadest base of utility as well as the broadest base of buyer. That is so important, and I never hear anybody talk about that, right? When you're in a crisis, what do you want? You want where there's only one buyer? Guess what? Then they're going to dictate the rules or it's going to go to zero.
That's right.
But if you have lots and lots of buyers, it'll go up and down based on supply and demand, but there's always demand. Always. That's what you want. Well, you know, we're in a fiat money system, and the translation of fiat is by decree. So the bottom line is this is government-based money. And government-based money, if you have a dollar bill, it started out at actually a dollar would buy a little bit more than a dollar's worth of goods. And now officially there's 3 cents left out of that dollar. Now on top of that, so number one of the tools that central bankers had was there was value, purchasing power value in the currency. And now there's basically none. And the great experiment was the regulation of the rate and speed of inflation. And inflation is actually baked into the current system. And so what the central bankers do is they regulate the rate and speed by using interest rates. And since 2008, which is really when the system died, they've been anchored globally at zero. When up to that point, when we would hit a recession, they would drop interest rates 5.5%, 5.75%. That would stimulate borrowing and spending, right? And so if you're anchored at zero and you have to really stimulate the economy, well, we've all seen negative rates, which is actually about attacking the principal. So we have to reset the global system because, frankly, the current system, there's no purchasing power left and there are no tools left. We just have the illusion of choice, and what the central bank digital currencies will do is most likely destroy that illusion. But that's all it is. And that's why you got to have physical gold, physical silver out of the system, because you can make a deposit into the system and have it convert into the current currency, but you can keep your dry powder
Yep.
so that you're only depositing it at basically as you need it. What happens if I'm right and what happens if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
And if I can make a choice where it doesn't matter whether or not I'm right or wrong, rock and roll hoochie coo. That's the choice I'm going to make. If everybody should start with their goals. So one of the things that we do at ITM, based upon all of my research and a strategy that I created for myself before I even came to ITM, that helps you determine how much you need. So the first thing you need to do is establish what you're trying to accomplish. Maybe you have a crypto portfolio. Maybe you have, we were talking about real estate before. There are some dangers that happen with real estate taxes and mortgages during these periods of time. Also, maybe you've got a stock portfolio that you can't liquidate. Maybe it's in a 403B, which gives you no choice, or a 401k or something like that. So I can't give you a blanket answer because it depends on what you're trying to do and protect. For me personally, as an ex-stockbroker, as an ex-banker, I have some of this because this is still our tool of barter, and I have employees and I have to make sure I can pay them and run my business. But frankly, and I'm not telling anybody else to do this, I believe my research because I know how deeply I dig. I don't own any other fiat money products besides this. That means that this is where I make the choice to hold my wealth.
Gotcha.
This is the lion's share.
Gotcha.
And you also notice that I'm always wearing jewelry, and that is because gold and silver I want everybody to know. Now, I'm not saying rush out to buy jewelry because it's a much bigger markup. However, gold and silver in any form is monetary at its base.
Yeah.
India in 2016 demonetized their currency. In other words, if a government can say, well, this is money and you got to use it, they can also say, nope, no longer money. You can't use it for anything. So that's what they did with about 85% of their currency in 2016. And then because particularly India, although other countries this has happened in, but India, having gone through what they've gone through, they don't really trust the government. And so they wear their wealth, right? They wear it. And they actually went around and confiscated certain levels of gold from households.
Yeah.
Not to mention the scheme, and this is true in Turkey as well, the scheme trying to get people to deposit their gold.